Allah's attribute of omniscience. Allah knows the cries of the beasts in the forest, the sins of the people in seclusion, the movements of the fishes in the deep seas, and the rising of the water by tempestuous winds. I testify that Muhammad is the choice of Allah, the conveyor of His revelation and the messenger of His mercy. Why fearing Allah? I admonish you to fear Allah who created you. To Him is your return. With Him lies the success of your aims. At Him terminate all your desires. Toward Him run your path of righteousness, and He is the aim of your fears for seeking protection. Certainly, fear of Allah is the medicine for your hearts, the sight for the blindness of your spirits, the cure for the ailments of your bodies, the rectifier of the evils of your breasts, the purifier of the pollution of your minds, the light of the darkness of your eyes, the consolation for the fear of your heart, and the brightness for the gloom of your ignorance. Therefore, make obedience to Allah the way of your life, not only your outside covering. Make it your inner habit instead of only outer routine, subtle enough to enter through your ribs up to the heart, the guide for all your affairs, the watering place for your getting down on the Day of Judgment, the one who intercedes for the achievement of your aims, the asylum for the day of your fear, the lamp of the interior of your graves, the company for your long loneliness, and the deliverance from the troubles of your abodes. Certainly, obedience to Allah is a protection against encircling calamities, expected dangers, and the flames of burning fires. Therefore, whoever entertains fear of Allah, troubles remain away from him. After having been near, affairs become sweet after their bitterness. Waves of troubles recede from him after having crowded over him. Difficulties become easy for him after occurring. Generosity reigns fast over him after shortage. Mercy bends over him after it had been loathed. The favors of Allah spring forth on him after they had been dried, and blessing descends over him in showers after being scanty. So fear Allah who benefits you with His good advice, preaches to you through His messenger, and obliges you with His favors. Devote yourselves to His worship and acquit yourselves of the obligation of obeying Him. About Islam. Islam is the religion which Allah has chosen for Himself, developed it before His eyes, preferred it as the best among His creations, established its pillars on His love. He has disgraced other religions by giving honor to it. He has humiliated all communities before its sublimity. He has humbled its enemies with His kindness, and made its opponents lonely by according it His support. He has smashed the pillars of misguidance with its columns. He has quenched the thirst of the thirsty with its cisterns, and filled the cisterns through those who draw its water. He made Islam such that its constituent parts cannot break, its joints cannot separate, its structure cannot fail, its columns cannot decay, its plant cannot be uprooted, its time does not end, its laws do not expire, its twigs cannot be cut, its parts do not become narrow, its ease does not change into difficulty, its clarity is not affected by gloom, its straightness does not acquire curvature, its wood has no crookedness, its vast paths have no narrowness, its lamp knows no putting off, and its sweetness has no bitterness. It consists of columns whose bases Allah has fixed in truthfulness, and whose foundation He has strengthened, and of sources the streams of which are ever full of water, of lamps the flames of which are full of light, and of beacons with the help of which travellers get guidance, and of signs through which a way is found to its highways, and of watering places which provide water to those who come to them. Allah has placed in Islam the height of His pleasure, the pinnacle of His pillars, and the prominence of His obedience. Before Allah, therefore, its columns stand strong, its structure is lofty, its proofs are bright, its fires are aflame, its authority is strong, its beacons are high, and its destruction is difficult. You should therefore honor it, follow it, fulfill its obligations, and accord the status due to it. About the Holy Prophet. Allah the Glorified One deputed Muhammad with the truth at a time when the destruction of the world was near and the next life was at hand. When its brightness was turning into gloom after shining, it has become troublesome for its inhabitants. Its surface had become rough and its decay had approached near. This was during the exhaustion of its life, at the approach of signs of its decay, the ruin of its inhabitants, the breaking of its links, the dispersal of its affairs, the decay of its signs, the divulging of its secret matters, and the shortening of its length. Allah made him responsible for conveying his message and a means of honor for his people, a period of bloom for the men of his days, a source of dignity for the supporters, and an honor for his helpers. About the Holy Quran. Then Allah sent the book as a light whose flames cannot be extinguished, a lamp whose gleam does not die, a sea whose depth cannot be sounded, a way whose direction does not mislead, a ray whose light does not darken, a separator of good from evil, whose arguments do not weaken, one who clarifies, one whose foundations cannot be dismantled, a cure which leaves no room for disease, an honor whose supporters are not defeated, and the truth whose helpers are not abandoned. Therefore, it is a mine of belief, and its nucleus the source of knowledge, and its oceans the plantation of justice, and its pools the foundation stone of Islam and its construction, the valleys of truth and its plains, an ocean which those who draw water cannot empty, springs which those who draw water cannot dry up, a watering place which those who come to take water cannot exhaust, a staging place in moving towards which travelers do not get lost, signs which no trader fails to see, and a high land which those who approach it cannot surpass. Allah has made it quench the thirst of the learned, a bloom for the hearts of religious jurists, a highway for the ways of the righteous, a cure after which there is no ailment, a glory with which there is no darkness, a rope whose grip is strong, a stronghold whose peak is invulnerable, an honor for whoever owes it, a peace for whoever enters it, a guidance for whoever follows it, an excuse for whoever adopts it, an argument for whoever argues with it, a witness for whoever quarrels with it, a success for whoever argues with it, a carrier of burden for whoever seeks the way, a shield for whoever arms himself against misguidance, a knowledge for whoever listens carefully, a worthy story for whoever relates it, and a final verdict of whoever passes judgments.